What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Sadhu here and welcome back to another 2S videos, and today I'm gonna cover my version composition for endgame, which is Exorcist, Sadhu, and Crusader. So first things first, I managed to get the Divine Retributions, aka Punishment Ark. This one is really good, by the way. I had a lot of fun with it and I'm pretty surprised by the damage because I actually managed to get stage 141 for Bonus Dungeon for this week, as you can see here, which is really good because I was moving to this next stage so fast with my build. And my build focused a lot of area and single target damage at the same time, and I'm using Attack Set effect, which is one of the most quoted items for this build. Now let me break down how Divine Retribution works. Divine Retribution, whenever you attack with a normal skills, aka any other skill that you have on your list, you have a chance of triggering a buff to your characters, and this buff will allow you to do huge amount of damage based on your final damage. So let's say Protection of the Goddess. Let's say this thing hit 10 million. Your next 3 attack will hit 75% of its damage. Now because of my arc is level 5, it's going to be 75%. Now if I max this out, it's going to be different. It's going to be 80% or more, and the damage is going to be much better. Now this art will always do physical damage. It doesn't matter if you scale with physical bonuses damage or maybe magic bonus damage. This art is only care for final damage. I also want to point out that the fake multi-hit ability will always count as one hit for the Divine Retribution Ark. For example, like Holy Smash and the Protection of the Goddess Dispersion Ark. So to make it short, players can actually take advantage of this to do extra damage while triggering the Divine Retribution Ark. Another thing I do want to point out is that the increased maximum activation chain is proportional to the attack skill factor. So technically, any skill with a high skill scaling will be able to activate the Divine Retribution Ark. For example, like the Protection of the Goddess, when I activate that, and that activate the Divine Retribution Ark, as you can see here. Now for the basic attack, it does not activate Divine Retribution Ark. As you can see here, I have the buff, but the auto attack does not trigger the Divine Retribution Ark. Now if you notice that my characters still have the Divine Retribution Ark buff, if I activate the next area skill, that Divine Retribution will hit most of the target, but it will consume all your Divine Retribution buff because your area attack also apply Divine Retribution's attacks along the way. So technically you could say that Divine Retribution also work for area and single target, however it is not as good as Stormark. Now for my equipment, it's pretty straightforward. I'm actually using a full attack set effects along with my trinket. I'm gonna switch out my main weapon as soon as I get a new one, but unfortunately right now I'm focusing on getting the last piece for Caroline set effect. Now with the Caroline set effects, I'm actually gonna get a lot of crit rate, which is really nice, by the way. I can improve my crit rate further if I switch out my Spectre card for May card. May card is actually the new master card. So this one gonna give you 100 crit rate per card, so technically it's 200 crit rate along with the 1 Gaze Golem card, or I can go straight for 3 cards if I want to as a Sadhu. Because Sadhu out of body has knockback immunity, so I don't have to worry about whether I'm gonna get knocked back by bosses or any monster. The frame lock is not a problem as well, to be honest. Now for the legend card, this is actually very important because monarchs might be better than Borota in the future. In the future, we are going to fight a plant boss compared to mutant that we have right now for Glacier. Plant boss has 2x amounts of critical resistance proportionally to the monster type. So that is very important of having a Demon Lord Monarch card for minimum crit chance, so you can have that extra crit chance to actually trigger the attack set effect. Now for my assister, it's gonna be the same. Pretty much I'm gonna focus on critical magic damage from Morning Ponias, the extra crit rate from the lightning type monsters, area attack ratio from the poison effects, which is poison type, especially for Morning Ponia and mutants. I also have extra intelligence as well as SPR. The intelligence I'm getting from the insect type, by the way, and then the SPR is coming from the devil type. Now onto the skill builds. I actually do have the link in the video description below. If you want to skip this part, feel free to go ahead and check it out. But for this part, I'm actually going to break down why I decided to pick up some certain skill. So for example, the first one is going to be a base class. It's pretty straightforward. Max out heals, Guardian Saint, 1 point to Fate, and the rest go into Cure. Cure is very situational in my opinion, but if you have a debuff you want to remove, Cure is definitely helpful. But if not, you can go all the way into Fate. Max out Fate will give you extra duration for invisibility. Now for the Exorcist, I maxed out Rubik, Cardiac Azor, Giga Rays, 1 point into Ingatia, 1 point to Entity, and the rest go into Aqua. This is very situational in my opinion because I personally feel that Entity might be better than Kadikazor. If you max out Entity with attributes and everything, you're gonna have like over 5,000 skill scaling. And if you use Gegare, it's gonna remove the damage reduction debuffs, which is really nice for Entity because you can do a lot of more burst damage coming out from Entity. It's also easy to use, by the way. All you have to do is just click the skills and just click it over 3 times basically. Crusaders. For Crusader, what I do recommend is actually getting 2 specific art. One of them is a Gen art and the other one is Protection of the Goddess art. That is a dispersion one. Now the reason why you want to use dispersion because if you hit the cap wall for the skills alone, it's better you use dispersion because it's gonna split the damage. You're still hitting 10 mil, but for those skills, for those extra hit, they can go up to 10 million. And having a 10 million per line is like huge damage boost for your character. And then for the Chan art, you only losing like 30% efficiency coming off on the Chan art. But with this one, because you're getting the buff that only have 70% efficiency, the damage buff you only lose like 20%, and then healing one, it doesn't really matter as long as you're capitalizing your healing powers for your character. Now for the rest of the skill points coming off from level 445 all the way to 450, I actually get retaliation for burst damage. I do plan out to switch Holy Smite into Retaliation because it's gonna be much better in terms of burst damage when I use Retaliation for Singularity as well as CM. Holy Smite is still good by the way, but technically right now I personally feel like Holy Smite is better up at level of like 10 or 12, 11. And then for the Sadhus, I went for the PvE roles. I actually only have 1 point into possession. I maxed out for Shida, I maxed out Prana, and I maxed out for Asteroid Body Explosion for this one, and 1 point into Prakriti, and the rest go into Outer Body. Now the reason why I maxed out Asteroid Body Explosion because it's much easier to use compared to possession. If you unlock this attribute, which is called Asteroid Body Explosions Untouchable, you will create an explosion around your physical body as well as the spirit body coming out from the outer body, which is double the damage. If you think about it, this is technically 16k skills SSR, which is really good by the way. And for the common one, I don't have anything else because I have the attack set effect. Alright, so for the rest of the video, it's going to be Misrus as well as the CMO. I didn't have any chance to actually do these end grade content, like for example like Vana, because I already cleared Vana for both casual as well as the normal version. I'm actually gonna do Morning Podium, but oh my goodness, what the heck? I was not expecting an Archstone right off the bat. But anyway, the rest of the video is going to be the Misrus as well as channel mode stage 7 for Shelter.
여신의 세례가